Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls, welcome back to the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast. This is episode 5?
Six.
This many.
No
Episode
way.
this many.
We
Episode-
apologize to Tim. Tim can only count on one hand, all right? It's got.
I am joined by the illustrious co-host, Mr. Rod from Picking and Punching Cards, and Cary from American Arbitrage Cards, and I am Tim from Over the Years Sports, and this is the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast, and we got a jam-packed show.
Jam-packed with
You guys
information.
little things and going like this each week because I know because you guys tried to steal this from the beginning.
No,
Suckers.
you've intimidated us, and we've backed off.
Yeah.
Because you were such a baby about it, episode 1, and we don't really need to deal with you. So just you can have the stupid gimmick.
I hate you, and I hate you.
Well, you
Neither are cool, but
No,
I.
you don't.
I'd say you.
We're doing a card podcast. None of us are cool.
That's very true. Very true. My wife doesn't. Yeah. Let me tell you, me, my cards, my toys, and my video games were definitely not cool. So, but
Yep. 100%.
Speaking about not cool stuff, though, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. I wish that for once, guys, we can start a podcast and not have to talk about a scandal, some theft out there, or something else. But once again, here we are, right?
Yeah.
Here we are. I mean, we can flip a coin which one we're going to jump into right away, but let's talk about the little autograph scandal going on right now. Tim, are you
Messi.
familiar with this autograph scandal?
Messy.
So apparently, this is not the first time this has happened. But
Wait, not the first time?
yeah, not the
Oh.
first time. So somebody pulled a Messi autograph card, and I want to say it was out of like a $10,000 box or something like that. And they got the autograph. They sent the autograph to the card, fresh pack ripped, everything. I think it was actually one of them was in a redemption and one of them was not. So they sent it to PSA. PSA got the Messi card and refused to grade it because they would not authenticate the autograph. And this is a card that's coming directly from the manufacturer. So apparently there's some rumors going around that Messi's brother had been signing the autographs and not Messi. And also, this falls on the manufacturers because you're authenticating the autographs before. Because if you look at like the back of a Panini or Topps card, if it's an autograph, it'll say, this autograph is authenticated by Leaf, Topps, Panini. So there's a big problem here because, like I said, this is the second time I believe that a Messi card recently has been sent back from PSA that they will not authenticate.
Don't they typically send these, sticker packets out to the person and they sign some sort of like affidavit that it's them that signed it, right?
So
and then they send it back.
It's actually how it works is they actually send it off, but then they assign someone. So it could be an agent, it could be a family member, and that they sign off saying that they are the ones that witnessed them signing it. So they actually have multiple people involved in it. And I mean, but if it's their family member or agent, someone else, like they're going to probably look the other way, just say, hey, he signed it, move on and send it off, but that's how they do it. I mean, I understand why they do that because it's hard to fly these players in. These players are busy. It's hard to fly a representative out. I mean, if you're putting out hundreds of different autographs per month, imagine sending a representative off to each one of these locations to do that. So this
What do you got to pay? What do you got to pay someone like Messi for him to even be interested in signing autographs? That dude has all the money in the world.
It's part of the Players Association. They make the deal with Topps for them, so it's part of
Is it
their
like the MLS deal? Because he's part of the MLS.
That's what
now,
I'm kind of curious. I don't remember.
It's got to be little. If it's MLS, he probably has a special deal.
It's like for like NFL and for like other ones, like they're signing. I think the Players Association. If I'm not, I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me on this. But I think the Players Association signs the merchandise deal, and then the players sign. Because remember, like Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, we had the problem with him. He wasn't signing it, so like he may not have been in Madden. He was going to have cards out. He was going to have jerseys out in the shop when all the other rookies did at the very beginning. So they have to sign that deal, and then once that deal goes into play, that's when it kind of plays out. But
So it was actually, there's a couple of these ones. So the one was a Grail card the kid pulled. Basically, it was when he was at PSG, and this looks like it was a Topps a Topps one, and PSA deemed it not as authentic.
Correct.
And that's what happened. So there's a huge thing on Reddit about it too.
If I'm not mistaken, too, didn't PSA go back and the ones that were already graded authentic took those off the list now, and they're saying that they're no longer authentic. I think they recalled a couple of their slabs too.
And Topps won't do anything about it. That's the thing that's crazy.
Well, here's the thing is, so it's when you open, this is the part that I don't understand. So I guess Topps won't do anything because it was an order box. I think it was from like a
21-22 Topps Finest Flashback Soccer.
Right. Because it wasn't wasn't like a new product that was done like the last year. But here's the thing is, Topps, when you do a redemption card, Topps gives you a 10 years to turn in that redemption card.
But this is they just changed that though recently. The thing that's crazy though is that it wasn't a redemption. They actually pulled the card.
But I understand that. But I mean, if you're going to honor your redemptions for 10 years, how do you not honor these autographs and these products for an X amount of years or something like that too?
But it was numbered to 10.
Ugh, that's
and
brutal.
So what happened was PSA. So they sent it to PSA for grading, came back as authentic instead of a numerical grade. PSA admitted it was a mistake and asked the person to send it back for DNA authentication, costing an extra $100. Weeks later, PSA called and said the autograph was fake, possibly signed by Messi's brother. The person then asked PSA for a written confirmation, and then instead they gave them an email with beat around the bush. So then they contacted Topps, who asked them to send the card in but refused to guarantee a resolution since it was over a year old. PSA has 2 of this card in population. One is a red out of 5, and the other is another orange out of 10. And both of them have PSA DNA authentication on those 2 slabs of the same product, same year. So
I think they recalled those now, if I'm not mistaken. I thought I could be wrong, but I saw something online saying that PSA is now removing those from the population report.
This is why.
Crazy.
This is why we're the no banger guys. Stop dealing with messy autos. If you end up having like some third stringer like Lucius Fox autograph that comes back fake, you're out $1, right?
You got $1, right?
But it's crazy because what if PSA just made a mistake and now, what if it really was autographed by Messi?
Could you send that to JSA or some other place to get a second opinion?
Well, then you can authenticate it, but I don't know if you could slab it with JSA. You know what I'm saying? Like they can authenticate the autograph, but then they would just put a sticker on the card. Basically, I've done it before with Beckett at the card show, the Chantilly card show. I bought some in-person autographs. Bowman, which is what you guys should be doing. This guy, he lived in Arizona, and he would just go to spring training, and he would go to the minor league games and Arizona Fall League.
That's what I want to do this
get all of
spring.
These prospects to sign these cards. And so I bought a couple off of him and then took it to Beckett and dropped it off in the morning of the card show, and a couple hours later went by and picked it up. They give you an option to slab it and stuff like that, but it costs extra. I was like, just throw the sticker on the back of the card. And I sold it for 10x what I paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I got it at COA. But that stuff is, I got a Mickey Mantle autographed baseball up here that my dad gave me when I was a kid, and I took it to get authenticated, and they said it was fake.
No.
Yeah, I've had some bad luck and good luck. I had a short that I did with a Bo Jackson mini helmet. You guys may have seen it. Everybody was like, "Oh man, you basically got a steal on that, and you didn't give that lady enough money." Come to find out, I spent $25 to get it authenticated, and it was fake. So, I mean, that happens. But I've had more good luck than bad luck authenticating that stuff. But if you buy that stuff low enough, you can typically.
What about you, Rod? Did you send your stuff yet?
I didn't send it in. I'm waiting to go visit Cary over on his side of the state because I'm going to take it to his local shop over there. For those who don't know, I picked up 2 LeBron James autograph 8x10s at my local flea market. One of them was Kobe and LeBron signed on it. And the weird thing is, I mean, the 8x10s are 6 years apart, but those LeBron autographs, if you put them side by side, they look totally different. So,
but that happens. People sign.
People sign differently.
Signatures evolve.
Yeah,
typically get worse over the years as they sign.
Or they get shorter over years. Or then if they run into medical problems, you have people over the years too where it looks real sloppy, just due to medical issues. But I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, let me ask you guys. I mean, Are you guys worried about picking up autographs at like garage sales, flea market?
I will only pay $5.
Okay.
I'm not. I probably more times than not I won't go above and beyond because I just know that like you have to think about the purchase price and then like Cary was saying how much it's going to cost you to get it authenticated. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
There's
you have
risk
to have
involved
there's
as well.
risk involved for sure.
I agree with you. I mean, I would never pay more than like $5 or $10. So I agree. But I think, I mean, there's a possibility. There's a lot of them out there that aren't real, but you do have to go through that process. Wait, Cary, didn't you just have one of the Globetrotters or Shaquille O'Neal one? Which one was it?
Yeah, I had a Shaquille O'Neal. I didn't pay $5. I probably paid too much. I paid $30 for it, got it authenticated. I ended up with like a $10 profit all in. So I didn't make a lot of money on it, but it was cool. In a way, that was interesting to me because it was a 1990s when Shaq was in Orlando. It was like one of those photo ops they'd give you at a signing if you were at, like some charity event or kids event or like a dealership, just a picture, right? A black and white
Orlando
picture.
Magic. It was like
from the Orlando Magic. You could tell it was era specific from the 90s. It was his old, it was definitely from the 90s. So I'm like, this is cool. I want to try it out. I'm filming it too so that I get some content out of it. And it came back authentic, and I actually traded it to Mike at K&T because he collects Shaq stuff. But it was really cool because in a weird way, like you kind of salvaged a piece of history and authenticated it and turned it into something that had some value.
Speaking of Orlando, how far are you guys from Orlando?
So we are literally Orlando's directly in the middle of both of us. So it's about the same distance when we drive to Orlando.
Are you guys going to the Orlando card show this weekend?
I am not. I'm going to be out of town.
I didn't even know there was one this weekend, to be honest. There's so many freaking card shows out here. I went to Space City this weekend.
Shout out to my guy, Leo. He runs a card show here. Well, not here because I'm in D.C. right now, but in Maryland, the Glen Burnie Card Show. If you guys have ever watched my channel, you've seen me mention it before, the Slade Card Show. And he's a really, really, really awesome guy. And he sets up and he sells there. He was actually set up at National, and I forget what the card was, but he gave me a card to give to Cary when we were at National, this past National. I can't remember what card it was, but you remember we went and we met him and stuff like that. So anyways, he was like, I'm going to be at Disney this weekend, and there's a card show down there. Can you ask Cary and Rod if they know anything about the card show, if it's any good? Because there's a card show in Orlando this weekend, so I promise.
There's like 4 or 5, so I'll have to see which one it is. I don't think it's Lake Nona. They have a Popka. They have several shows out there.
There's Tim. I mean, it's unreal down here. There's literally several card shows every weekend throughout the state. So like you can pretty much go east, west, north, south, right in the middle. You'll find card shows. But
I love it.
Before we move on, I just want to say I want to hear from the viewers. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you guys pick up random autographs you guys find at garage sales, flea markets, sports card shows? Are you afraid of being fake? What is the most that you guys will pay? Also, too, we hit 600 subs in this channel, so we are giving away a free blaster box again. So hashtag no bangers down below, and next week we will draw the winner, and we are giving away that blaster box. We're on the way to 1,000. When we hit 1,000, guys, we are going to give away some spectacular prizes.
Okay, listen, we're giving stuff away, right?
Yeah, we're giving stuff away.
Okay, because we're going to talk about a new platform that's coming out. But before we talk about that platform, we're going to talk about another new platform. That platform is called dibitcards.com. If you guys are unaware, us here at the No Bangers Podcast have teamed up with 2 other members because we already have one member, and Cary's like in the middle of the Venn diagram.
Yeah, exactly.
We've teamed up with Dave and Kevin from Dibit with Cary and No Bangers, and we have created the dibitcards.com. It's a brand new buying, selling community marketplace. It's absolutely amazing. So I have decided, without telling these 2 guys, that I'm going to run a giveaway here too. I'm going to be giving away a Jaden Daniels rookie card. And what I'm going to do is you have to be subscribed to No Bangers Podcast. Okay, No Bangers Sports Card Podcast subscribed. You also have to be a member of dibdip.com, which is free to sign up. And you have to comment below your username on dibditcards.com and hashtag No Bangers. And I will pick one of those people who do both of those in the comment section below, and I'll give away a Jaden Daniels rookie card.
Awesome. Guys, jump in that. We're giving away tons of free stuff. We talk about all this free stuff we're giving away. Let's switch that the other side. Let's talk about people that steal stuff. All right. Unfortunately, guys, we got to talk about this. And how many times have you guys shipped stuff out and you're like, damn, that thing got lost in the mail?
Yeah.
You know, we've all been there. We've all been there. Well, I think we finally figured out why that may have happened. So if you guys ever ship anything to Montana,
be careful. Be careful.
So apparently in Montana, this isn't alleged. This is actually what happened. A postal worker has been arrested for stealing and reselling sports cards. This dumbass took, all right, listen to this one now. He's had $850 worth of cards he stole, took those cards to a sports card shop to sell them back. That sports card shop realized that these are the same cards they shipped out to a customer.
Oh, wow.
All right, like, come on, man. Like, after that,
that's something that happens in Florida, not in Montana.
Yeah, that's a Florida thing, all right?
That is a Florida man thing.
They contacted the authorities. They did an investigation. They found 100 packages at this employee's house that were not named to him, and he had over 10,000 sports cards there. So, Cary, I mean, you lost some packages. I mean, 10,000. All right. So he's facing up to 5 years in prison and up to $250,000 fine. Well, yeah, that's what I said. That's not that bad. You know, for that you get a good behavior out in 2-3 years.
I mean, if he doesn't have any priors and he gets a good lawyer, he'll probably get slapped with like 5 years probation and 2,000 hours of community service.
So, Cary, man, what's happened to all your packages that you've been selling online? Huh?
We've had pretty good luck. I mean, I will say this. This is slightly off topic, but like, I will say, if you guys ship out a lot of cards, find a post office in your area that you're comfortable with. Not just because you're worried about theft, but if you're doing a lot of like standard envelope stuff. I mean, I've gone out of the way to a farther away post office.
That's what I do
because I feel more comfortable. So that's something to have on the plate. But I don't know. Like, if you're in business, there's going to be a certain amount of loss. Unfortunately, in the case of sports cards, there could be some via theft. So you just got to realize that's part of the game. There's not a heck of a lot you can do. Unfortunately, like you can't electric shock your packages. That's illegal. So you're just going to have to, put them in a cereal box.
Blue dye.
Put them in a cereal box and nobody's going to think it's a valuable card, right? You got to smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's cost of doing business. So, everyone's worried about scammers. Everyone's worried about people stealing your stuff. And truly, and be honest with you, like I've sold over 15,000 items on eBay, and I can probably count on one or two hands in the last 20 something years how many times I've tried to I was scammed or I had someone steal my stuff. Like, it doesn't happen yet, but like, it's cost of doing business. It's part of what we do.
It's pretty simple. If you send something out, the tracking disappears. It does not arrive to the person. It sucks for them. It sucks for you, but ultimately the right thing to do is to refund them, even though it's, because that's the cost of doing business. It's unfortunate. And when you have those a lot of times with me and with us, it's low end cards. So it's not that big.
You want to know who else got caught stealing cards? Did you hear about this?
No, what?
Maybe,
I don't know.
One of the employees at Cards HQ.
Oh, yes, I heard that today.
$20,000 worth of cards he got caught stealing. Apparently, he was. There's two separate things. The way I saw it was he was doing like like how. I don't know how many of you guys have, dealt in street activities, but, so every once in a while you'll do, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me sort of situation. He was basically doing that while running Whatnot live streams. And then Jeff Wilson came out and said, no, he wasn't stealing from the customers. He was stealing back stock inventory. So apparently he got caught stealing $20,000 of cards.
Wow, that's a felony. That's a felony, man. That's so. We're talking about people stealing. What can people do to protect themselves from, when people order stuff online, Tim? I mean, what are some steps that you
sell no bangers. Sell
$2
cards. Nobody's bothering with them.
Let me ask you a question then, really fast. Because I just sold a card on dibitcards.com.
Yeah. You sold a banger. Which is against the rules, by the way, but we'll let it slide.
The video has not come out yet, but I'm sure when it does, I'm going to get absolutely destroyed in the comment sections because I'm already getting destroyed for my Christian Campbell video.
Yes, I saw that. Gotta leave Tim alone,
welcome
man.
to YouTube, my friend. Welcome to YouTube.
Yeah, they've been coming for my head. They're like, you can't use your sleazy flea market tactics on two Christian Campbell first Bowman autos.
It kind of feels like you did though, and it worked.
It worked. But
Just playing.
I found a Zaire Hope. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Pearl super short print card. It's sold on dibitcards.com for $310.
Nice.
I paid, roughly $2 below for that card. Okay, are you shipping that in a box?
Absolutely, 100%.
Probably.
All day.
Insure it. Do all that jazz.
I'm doing tracking. I'm doing signature confirmation, and I'm shipping in a box.
Well, I don't do it standard envelope. I'm anti standard envelope. I send every single card, no matter what it is, in the bubble mailer.
So one of our episodes, we actually had someone comment on there. They want to know why. They're like, "This is wild," because I ship standard envelope up to $20. I never had an issue. Knock on wood. So why don't you explain to the viewers why you choose to go that route? Because I think it's very intriguing for some people out there.
Well, one, because to me, it's a hassle is what it is. It's a hassle. Like for me, like I'm so used to, I have my system with my bubble mailers that it's so much easier, right? And that's one reason. Number two is there's always trouble. I know you said you ain't never had no trouble. I knock on wood, but like I've never had a problem with a bubble mailer, but I've had cards I've ordered standard envelope that have had problems. It takes so long. Then I got to answer the questions like, where's my card and all this and that. And it's like, for me, it's like a $2 difference. I've found that more people, they don't mind. And also I kind of stopped selling $1 and $2. I don't sell $1, $2 cards. Like I mean, I do sell some $5 to $10 cards. Don't get me wrong. But like, I think that also encourages people to buy more than one card because I have combined shipping, free combined shipping. So if you buy 5 cards from my eBay store, I'm going to give you one shipping price. If you buy 5 cards from my dibitcards.com or any of the other marketplaces on District, it's $5 free shipping after that. And whatnot, they give me my label, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But like, it just to me like, and I feel weird. Like I'm maybe because I live by Murphy's Law, right? Like what will go wrong can't go wrong.
Yeah.
But like I can't just put a card in a top loader in an envelope and send it away. I can't do it. It feels weird to me. I'm like, there's no way. Like I sell glass. Like I've seen what happens to boxes that have glass.
You're a glass shipper that's shipping cards. Like me, it's like it's a top loader. It's a penny sleeve. That's what a top loader is for, is to protect the card. And if it is a $2 or $3 card, I don't know. We've definitely throughout the years had issues here and there. It tends to go in spurts, like when they have that one random postal worker who's having a bad Thursday,
or lives in Montana.
Yeah, or lives in Montana. There's usually no problems until there's like 7 problems in a row, and then there's no problems for a long time.
So, Cary, you're using standard envelope, or you're not using it?
Yeah, I use it. I use it from time to time. We've used it a lot over the years, though. Yeah.
How are you actually shipping in a standard envelope? Because I think it's different. Everyone's different in how they actually ship it. And that's a big difference, I think.
Literal PWE, so plain white envelope. You can use the sturdier cardboard ones. I do a top loader, painter's tape, and that's it. Now, most of the shipping is done by Dawn, my girlfriend. So if it's me, that's all I do if I'm doing the shipping. I don't personally believe, and especially for $2, $3 cards, that you need to do much more. For more expensive cards, I would protect more. But Dawn, if you've ever received anything, on Cary or Dibit or whatnot from Dawn, she overdoes it. I feel like she does the cardboard, she does bubble wrap, she does the Tim special, but it works and people love it. So since I'm not doing as much of the buy it now stuff and I'm doing live auctions, it's almost all bubble wrap and cardboard and everything nowadays.
I'll tell you what's funny. It's selling on Collects. I have standard envelope shipping set up.
Yeah.
But so I buy a lot of standard envelope, right? And because that's how you get some of the best deals on eBay. So I just reuse the ones I get. And because a lot of times they come in like those armalopes, and I just reuse those. And what I've also done is I take the bubble mailer and I cut it in half, and I put the card in the bubble mailer, and it's like the size of an envelope.
It's brilliant. I've done that many times.
Yeah, so I do that sometimes too with the standard envelope.
Have you heard? Have you heard the Collects news, guys? Did you hear about Bobby Witt investing? He's part of their 10 million. Yeah, they had I think it was a $10 million, whatever they call it, seed round or something, round A, B. I don't know how that all works.
Wow.
But Bobby Witt was one of the investors.
Interesting.
Bobby Witt Jr., not senior. Great pitcher for the Rangers. We're talking about junior, the guy on the Royals.
So for me, I actually use I use these like heavy duty piece of it's a cardboard envelope I use. So I use that. Yep. And then I had this piece of a real thin piece of cardboard that folds open. And you stick. So I put my top loader, put the painter tape on.
Like what you used to get cards in a candy machine.
Yes, exactly. The ones you get the cards in the stickers in the candy machine, or cards in the candy machine. That's exactly what I use. So I put my top loader in that, and I stick it right in this like heavy duty envelope. So it's a cardboard envelope. It's super thin, but cardboard envelope. So I can ship up. Hold
on. We had to go over this really quick. How do you say envelope?
Envelope.
Well, one more time for the people in the back.
Envelope. How do you say it?
Envelope.
That's what I said.
You're saying envelope.
Yeah, envelope.
You're spelling envelope with an A.
Envelope.
Envelope. This is a spelling contest. Is that how to pronounce words?
No, wait. Let's do the true test. Can you spell envelope, Rod? Can you spell it?
Next question.
Crown or crayon?
Wait, what do you call? What do you get if you go and get water? Where do you get water from?
Oh, you see, you're a water guy.
Yeah, I'm a water guy.
I'm a water.
You're water. I'm water.
Water.
What do you call it? What do you get it from?
A fountain.
Water fountain. Well, you're not anymore. I get it from
my old roommate in college called it a bubbler.
A bubbler. Oh, like the cooler.
Yeah, but that's what he went. Instead of going to water fountain, he said he went to a bubbler. I say a lot of things different. Like instead of vacuum, I say sweeper. It's you're sweeping the floor.
That's weird.
Instead people say dinner, I say supper. That's another one.
That's something Kevin would say.
Yeah, and instead of people say creek, I say crick.
Well, yeah, that's a Philly thing.
Yeah, it's a Philly thing. So I'm from up that way. But you were talking about Bobby Witt Jr. investing. How about another guy who invested? Tom Brady. Did you see that?
Yeah. Cardball. He invested in that store. Yeah. It was for years and still is a sports card shop at Gillette Stadium, Card Vault, and then I think it's at Boston Gardens or right outside of TD Gardens. So yeah, he invested in it. I think 50% ownership. I watched a whole video on that interview. It's very fascinating.
I think we're going to start seeing more and more athletes start getting involved in the industry. And Tim, I know you just had that.
Yeah, big shout out to Justin Pugh, former New York Giants football player. He actually hit me up on Twitter and said he's trying to get into the hobby. So I recommended him to watch the first couple episodes here on No Banger Sports Cardcast. So big shout out to Justin Pugh. If anybody finds any Justin Pugh cards, hit me up because he's going to start collecting his own card. And I recommended to him, I said, you should probably try and collect some of your favorite teammates' cards. I think that would be cool. And he seemed to think that was a dope idea too. So shout out to Justin Pugh. Good guy, former NFL player. And he's actually done some work on some podcasts with some mutual friends of mine who cover the NFL. So big shout out to Justin Pugh. Hopefully you're watching and we appreciate it.
Dude, it blows my mind that more players don't collect. I think
it's becoming a big thing now.
Yeah, it's going to be more. I think you're starting to see that more in baseball now than anything. I think that's more a lot of these up and coming prospects and stuff. Especially, I think because of doing the patch. You know, they want their patch. You know, debut patch. But I don't know, man. It wasn't like that 10, 20 years ago.
Do you think it's just a matter of social media exposing, or not exposing? That might not be the right word, but showing that more people are collecting. I mean, Dimitri Young collected for 20 years, sold his amazing collection. Nobody was talking about Dimitri Young collecting because I don't know if anybody cared at the time, right? Nobody was asking players. You know, I feel like, I don't know. I think it's awesome that more collectors are, more sports players are talking about being collectors. It's awesome. The more the merrier.
AJ Dillon's huge into it.
Oh, yeah. He's got his own Instagram. Yeah, all about cards. He does breaks, I believe. He goes live on Instagram selling breaks, I think, and cards. So that's awesome.
I mean, it's a good way for them to stay connected to the communities, connected to the sport that they grew up and they loved. I mean, that's why I'm just shocked. I used to go to a lot of autograph signings, get a lot of stuff signed, and I used to take like action figures or like starting lineups and stuff like that or like go see pro wrestlers and show them. And some of the guys are like, oh, look, this doll I got, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm like, damn it, it's an action figure. All right, just sign it, but like, it just blows my mind.
Takes that very serious.
If it was me, like I would have a whole room displayed of all my cool merchandise. I just don't. Some people just don't care. It blows my mind. So,
dude, we gotta get some. We need the No Bangers stickers and all that stuff.
We gotta get all that
people
stuff.
Been asking.
I'm telling you, we need plain hats. I don't care if they're gray, black, white. We get a piece of painter's tape and we just write No Bangers because that is cheap and cost effective, repeatable, and it's on brand.
And then when we kick you off,
I want to be the opposite of looking swaggy. I want to intentionally look DIY. DIY is a different thing. DIY. I want to look like we're doing it ourselves because we are.
So when me and Tim kick you off, we could just get another piece of tape and just replace it.
Exactly. When I am replaced by AI, some AI influencer, you guys can do whatever.
Well, speaking about replacing, there's a new market coming in. I don't know if you heard about that. Tim, did you hear about the new market?
Yeah, dibitcards.com.
No.
Dibit threads?
No. But actually, one of the big players on eBay, oh my God, I just forgot his name. Probstein, thank you. Actually, it's just that my Probstein announced that he's opening a new market called Bid, BYD, and it's not only going to be for sports cards but sports memorabilia. And he eventually is going to wants to make it a one-stop shop, just like eBay, where you can put electronics and everything else. But there's a twist, and the twist is that you sell all the items, and then you actually ship those items to them, and they will ship it for you. So I will tell you, one of my biggest complaints for me, and one of the things that restricts me so much doing my lives and selling on eBay, I'm a one-man show. So I sell on eBay, Cary, Poshmark, whatnot, and I do lives on Dibit cards. I do lives on whatnot. And I can only do so many shows because I spend more time shipping and going through and organizing stuff than I actually do on doing my shows. So if I can eliminate that's all the stuff on the backside, I would be able to make so much more money. What about you, Tim? I mean, you do a lot of shows.
I mean, I don't know. Like, when I heard it, I was like, this is fascinating. I always respect somebody thinking outside the box, right? Even though it's not necessarily thinking outside the box, he's basically stealing Amazon FDA.
I was thinking FBA the whole time, but auction based.
So that's kind of what he's doing, and I think it's interesting. And listening to the reasons that he gave, he was like, a lot of that stuff kind of is like what we're doing already on Dibit cards, but with one seller, right? Where you're able to, use progressive shipping and you don't have to worry, like we're on Whatnot, you have to pay shipping every time the person goes live before they ship. So that's going to kind of save people some money on shipping, I suppose. But I don't know how the timing works for that, right? And he was bragging about how they're the fastest shippers in the game and da-da-da-da-da, right? But what happens is so like if I sell 50 cards in one live, what happens if I do two lives in back-to-back days, right? So now I gotta do I have to send two separate packages? How do I differentiate?
What happens when inevitably somebody doesn't follow the rules and say you are supposed to send them in separate packages, but you sent them together in one package? Maybe you didn't separate them well enough. How are you gonna basically determine which people can even do this, because they've got to make sure they follow a certain set of rules so it can be smooth for you on your end, right?
He said they're going to be extremely strict with who they select to sell there, and that they have to have a professional studio set up. So I mean, I'll be good, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know about you two guys, but
it's overrated. It's overrated.
This is a no banger setup, bro. All right, dude. We're not here. I'm not this fancy little setup in this studio.
We don't need a podcast doesn't need a fancy room with wood paneling and what do they have? Neon signs in the background.
Yeah.
You need to be in a podcast needs to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if you're talking into tin cans with strings. It's irrelevant.
So yeah, I am kind of curious to see the operational standpoint of that as far as the selling and shipping to them, because to me it kind of feels like that's going to be kind of like a time thing where it's like if I order cards, and I guess if I order from say all three of us went live on Bid, which is not dibditcards.com, but check us out, dibditcards.com, where if I bought cards from somebody bought cards from me, somebody bought cards from you, somebody bought cards from Cary. Are they going to wait until they receive the shipment from all three of us before they send it out?
That's a good question.
They're going to give the buyers a 30-day window. So you have 30 days to ask for your cards to be shipped to you.
Are they going to have a vault feature, like where you can store cards and stack it up COM-C style and then ship it all out when you feel like it?
That's what I got from the interview.
But I would say one advantage they do have, they're already on their consignment shop. That's what they are. So they're already taken in. They already have the infrastructure built. They already have the systems in place. I mean, they're one of the biggest sellers on eBay. At one point in time, I was doing some research, and they were the 5th biggest card shop on eBay. You know, they sold the most, some of the top 5 there for the longest time.
And he hates modern cards. You know that, right?
Yeah. He loves vintage, man. That's all.
I love vintage too, but I don't hate modern cards.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Tim, did they give a time frame when
they did? And you know what? I was in the middle of cutting cardboard for card shipments, and I forgot. I didn't hear the exact number, but it is months away. Okay. Apparently, this has been in the works for some time now. You know, he's a guy. He's like he's a New York sort of Wall Streeter guy, giving sort of thing situation. Like, so he's like probably hired a couple of different focus groups and consulting agencies to kind of like work out all the tweaks and kinks and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it's rolled out and how many people they're gonna have behind them. And what's funny is that he was talking about live selling. Like, he's like, well, there's this thing we use in the business world where it's like the Fiverr, right? And it's like the first 5 years of a concept or a business. And then it's like the people that do everything else after the people that did the first 5 years are the people who really innovate and change the original concept, right? But like live selling out on the internet, I mean, I was live selling on YouTube for 3 years before I even started Whatnot, which I was doing for 4 years. So it's like, it's been around longer than that. But but
before that was QVC. QVC was around.
But it wasn't online.
But I mean, the concept was people shifted to YouTube and to be able to do it themselves then.
And he loves using the vertical term. He's like, everybody's doing everything in vertical now. And so it's like... Yeah, it was kind of. Are we
talking about content vertical, or are we talking about business vertical?
The selling, live selling, the vertical content, same concept. But yeah, he was referring to live selling as a vertical.
Well, I love that he called it vertical. I'll give him credit for that because I get tired of the long form and the short form. It's vertical, it's horizontal. It's simple as that. Make it as long or short as you want.
It'll be interesting to see how well they perform, who they decide to bring on, Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. You guys know I like to just dip my toes in everything. So I will be in line just to see what it's like, because I think it's good too, especially for what we do here on No Bangers, because it's like, if say like I went through the process of applying and like say I did get granted access to do it, I would be able to come back here on No Banger Sports Card Podcast, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and be able to, relay what it's really like on the front lines and not hear it from somebody else who's paid by them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is something that means that too, being an early adapter. The people that got in ground floor right off the bat. I mean, imagine the people that started eBay in the very beginning. You could build up that following right in the beginning as it grows. People that got on Whatnot right in the beginning and start selling cards.
Yeah, they're still waiting for money orders. I bet some of them. They're like, man, it's been 19 years and that money order hasn't arrived yet.
But with that being said, though, that's one thing that we're stressing with Dibit cards, because we just launched our lives 2 weeks ago. And we have 500 plus users already. It's growing each day. It's getting there. And we're going to start doing raid trains.
We're having auctions every day already on cards.
Yeah. So if you guys want to be part of Dibit cards, literally go over there, apply. But we are starting to do raid trains, and you will be able to co-stream with all three of us. We are going to be building up because we want to help everyone grow. So keep that in mind.
We really just want you guys to come over there and buy more first before sell. That's all.
Let's check it out. If you like it, stay. If you don't, don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah, we'll see you on Probstein.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Bid, and we'll say hi.
Did he say? I don't remember in the interview. I missed this part, but did he say he plans on leaving eBay altogether? And
Yeah,
just doing
he's done. He's done with eBay, and
so another reseller leaving eBay.
I thought that was pretty. Shout out ADH Dave. I thought that was pretty interesting when we were talking about this in the group chat where Rod said about how like this influx of people leaving eBay. I applied to live sell on eBay. I applied to live sell on Fanatics. I ain't getting no word from neither one of them.
So in 2023, me and Cary actually spoke at a reselling convention in Arizona, and eBay was there, and we had an opportunity to apply for eBay Live at that point in time, and I applied. And multiple other people that were there were bigger, had huge YouTube channels applied, and still nothing. I mean, I have friends that have over 100,000 subs and couldn't get approved on eBay.
Dude, I have been on eBay Lives, and I don't even want to speak out of school, but I'm not a big fan of eBay Lives. I think there's so much opportunity there, like with being able to put your I mean, I don't know the details, but it seems like it's highly focused on breaks, right? On eBay Lives right now with sports cards. It'd be awesome to pull, listings off your eBay and start auctions and be totally dynamic, which I'm not sure if that's happening.
I mean, dude, I've been selling on eBay since 1999, and I have not
been
able
old,
to get man. Yeah, I am old. I was early adapter though. This is what I was telling you about. But like, it makes me think like, how much market share has eBay lost over the years? Because they could have crushed Whatnot in the very beginning. Do you know how easy it would have been if I have, say, 2,000 items in my shop and I could just click one button, move those directly to live? They would have crushed Whatnot into pieces right in the very beginning. But their website's so antiquated. eBay is always a step behind, and they're losing market share to people. I mean, think about what has happened over the last couple of years. Burbank Sports was one of the biggest card dealers on eBay. They announced 6 months ago that they're going to be exclusively selling on Fanatics, and thher
which is wild. I would have never guessed Burbank to do that. I mean, because they had invested so much time and infrastructure into it. I can tell you this. I started reselling in 2011, seriously. And at that time, it was eBay and a little bit of Amazon. But I couldn't imagine a time not selling on eBay for years and years and years. And now I am honestly, I mean, I sell very little there. Like, I don't feel any need for it anymore. Like, I think it's still super useful and still probably overall the most powerful selling website out there. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying it isn't. There's so many other options. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Whereas before, it's like if you didn't do that, you were going to have to struggle on Bonanza or something like that and hope something happened.
I think PWCC laid the groundwork for Probstein to branch off and do this because they got kicked off eBay because of shield billing and all the other stuff allegedly was happening at the time. Now PWCC got bought out by Fanatics, so that's Fanatics' marketplace. But I mean, watching them go over, start their own marketplace and doing that, I think that light bulb went off for Probstein is like, oh, you know what? They did it. Why can't we do that? We're a big card seller up there. But just think about that. I mean, that's 3 major card dealers on there that just left eBay. I mean, Burbank Sports had sold, I think they had up to 40 million listings over the years in there. They have sold, I think, over 7 or 8 million cards on eBay. And these are big players that keep leaving there. And when we were at that reselling convention in Arizona back in 2023, they had a representative. They had one of the VPs for eBay there, and they said that their number one selling market at that time was sports cards. And they did like the first quarter, I think like $900 million in sales or something like that. So my question to you guys is eBay still the place to go for cards? I mean, is it still the 800-pound gorilla in the room?
No, it's not. But it still is. I'd say it's still probably number one for the masses, for the volume, right? But I don't think it's the big balls on the table for everything for forever now. Like I feel like people, because of the so much things that have happened on eBay that people don't like about eBay, whether you're selling or buying, that they've drifted away to other places. The thing that's crazy is, and I think why you're seeing a lot of these other options pop up now too, is that Whatnot allowed themselves to kind of put themselves in the same situation as eBay, right? So now I see just as many people complaining about eBay that are complaining about Whatnot. So it's like it becomes difficult to manage at a certain level with the volume, right? If you're not doing things right, if you don't have like a good infrastructure. And I feel like, no, go ahead.
No, eBay's a monolith. Like there's such a huge, massive reselling website that they cannot move as quickly as a Whatnot, and and Whatnot can't move as quickly as a District. And then there's probably even tiers below that, honestly.
That's because of size. I mean, eBay has 130 million users, where I think Whatnot has maybe about like 3 or 4 million users.
No,
exactly. So I think there's a lot more than that.
Is it more than that?
I think there's a lot more. Yeah, a lot more. But another thing is, like I told you guys, I talked about this in our group chat, where I was like, erosion, right? Like of anything kind of happens slowly and then all at once, right? Like the side of the cliff falls off and you didn't even know it was going to happen. I'm not saying that eBay is going to go away, but I could definitely foresee 5 years from now where people are legitimately saying which one's bigger, which one's better, Whatnot or eBay. A District, maybe a dark horse in there as somebody in there as well. But like for sports cards, I could see eBay and Whatnot being neck and neck for sports cards in 5 years, especially if Whatnot could figure out how to get some buy it now traffic. Because I mean, I've had some luck in auctions with buy it nows. If they could figure that out, I mean, I think they dominate the auction thing. And you can go into an auction and source cards right now, all over Whatnot, and find deals.
It'll be interesting to see if Fanatics opens up the door for single sellers as opposed to just breaks too.
Here, devil's advocate. How many of these places do we need, though? Right? Yeah. I mean, we want innovation, and I want as many of these places to start, but they're not all going to survive, probably, at least, and thrive. I would imagine.
Here's interesting. I did a Google search. It said, according to available data, Whatnot has approximately 2 million worldwide installs. So roughly, so they're not as big as people think. I mean, if you go on there, Whatnot,
that just tells me there's massive room for growth for Whatnot.
Oh, absolutely,
if that's the case.
Absolutely. I mean, because you have to remember, Whatnot originally started out as just a collectibles market. They did
Funkos,
sports cards,
heavy
and comics,
Funkos,
and then they started even they reached out to me, and I helped do stuff in the garage sale category when they were.
I did the third ever video game auction. I'm not even a video game seller.
I was one of the first. Me and Cernok were one of the first vintage clothing sellers. In the category.
Before I even got on, you guys were like the OGs of
you
in our reselling community doing Whatnot.
So I mean, there's a ton of room out there, and I think they have a very, very small percentage of the marketplace. So I think there is a lot of room, but this shows you how much money's out there. That's the biggest thing, because like with those numbers, I mean, I don't even know how much Whatnot made. I think I would have to Google it, but I mean, their numbers are astronomical for the amount of users they have, the amount of money that's flowing through that platform these days. So it's a lot out there. I don't know. We have to wait and see how it plays out. I mean, do you think moving forward or next year, Tim, I mean, what's your prediction? Do you think Fanatics is their marketplace is going to take over as one of the top ones? Do you think Protein's going to come in there?
No, I don't expect any of that sort of stuff to happen overnight. Okay. Yeah. Except for maybe dibditcards.com, but
that will. we hope. No, allegedly.
It's so hard to build stuff like that, and I think that like it's funny because there's a clip going around of the guys who founded YouTube, and YouTube originally started off as a dating site, and then then it kind of
I thought they were doing zoo videos, like the guy was at the zoo or whatever. Remember that video, the first YouTube?
Oh, before it morphed into that, it was like a dating site. Oh, wow. And then there's a video clip of them like sitting in a room after they switched their game plan to going into uploading videos, and like they were sitting there like freaking out because they only had there was only 40 videos uploaded.
Yeah, I saw that video this week. Yeah, it was fascinating.
And so it's like you think about something like that, and look where YouTube is right now. Like when Netflix came around, people were like, "This is stupid. Like I'm just gonna go to Blockbuster. What do I need the discs sent to me in the mail?" Now Netflix is one of the biggest streaming platforms in the world, but they're number 2, I think, behind.
But then also
YouTube.
once everybody saw that Netflix was doing really well, we got Paramount Plus, we got Apple TV. Some of them are succeeding greatly. Some are, pretty much out of business at this point. So
WWE launched their first all network before anyone else really did. So WWE was actually one of the innovators to that. That's their whole
now business. WWE has, I don't know if they still have their channel, but they're working with Netflix now.
They actually sold the rights for $5 billion to NBC Peacock. So they were on there for 5 years exclusive. And then now they just signed a new deal with Netflix to bring Raw over. Yeah, it's crazy. So, but once again, that's what we're talking about. You want to be an early adapter. You're in the forefront. You laid the you leave the path there, and people are going to fall behind you.
But you have to adjust and adapt too. I think that's another thing that you take from this, because think about it. Like when we did the round table on Prime, what's his name? What's Dom's channel's name?
Oh, Primetime Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
Remember we did that round table on Whatnot, and people were like, "What are these
that
guys
was
talking
years,
about?"
yeah.
Like what? Like the eBay. There's never live selling is just a fad, is what people said.
Yeah.
Now it's like eBay. Everybody was like, eBay is gonna start losing because they're not doing any live selling, and eBay was forced to adapt into some nature live selling. I remember us being like, eBay live selling. They can't even get people to pay for their auctions when they win.
That's wild that it's this far in and they can't do this. But I've talked about this many times. Like people are like, Whatnot. Dibit's even farther because like it's like Whatnot, but like less people understand it so far. So we get a lot of that with Dibit too. They're like, eBay's got all these users. You're not going to get anybody on Whatnot, or you're not going to get anybody on Dibit to buy. But that's exactly what they said 25 years ago, the flea market sellers. That's what they said to the people who are like, you know what, I'm going to put this stuff on eBay instead of sell it locally. And they're like, you're crazy. You're not, there's not any interest. And then they were early adapters, and a lot of them, made a lifetime worth of a living selling online. Seriously, it's interesting. It's a common thing over and over again. Before the flea market, it was something else. Like, don't do ads in the paper. That's not going to work, or whatever it was before that, right? It's always something.
Yep.
Well, speaking about ads, I actually started hearing eBay ads this weekend when I was driving around.
On the TV, on the radio, on the TV?
On the radio. But here's the thing:
wow,
they talked about
that's going to work.
But here's the funny thing, and they didn't say anything about.
Thank goodness they figured the radio ad out. Goodness gracious!
2025, right?
I owned a business. I've owned a business like a brick and mortar. I remember doing a radio ad back in the day when I had a shop, and what a colossal waste of money, I will say. But that's maybe just because I suck at it, to be fair. But sorry, I have to make fun of a radio ad.
But here's the crazy thing about the radio ad. So they mentioned about collectibles, but when they talked about cards, they say, hey, go on there, you can find your new shiny card. That's what they said in the ad, your shiny card. So they're like, they're playing off.
You sure they weren't talking about cars?
Cards. No, they were talking
about
cards.
Very into the eBay motor thing.
Yeah. No, they are into that. No, but this was about the collectible market. They were talking about you find your new shiny card.
Well, that's where they're going to get all the people looking. Maybe they're driving to the restocks and they're going to catch them. Maybe that's how they're planning on getting them. I feel like they need to be dealing, I'm not saying like with us necessarily, but they need to be dealing with influencers, people that are on people's phones 24/7. And it's less and less the commercial in between, King of Queens or whatever TV show. It's more and more, in between a TikTok or a YouTube video. That's just
Cary's
what it is.
on fire today.
Cary's on fire, man.
I get into things and then I zone out for like 20 minutes.
He doesn't pay attention. He just he wakes up like, oh, hey, I'm here.
Hey,
I'm here. Now, one thing we get every
in and out of my fog.
I wish you guys had more time. I wish we hate there's a week in between us. Well, we will be live this Thursday night for a banger, guys. I'll be live on my channel picking, punching cards Thursday night. Eastern Standard Time, probably around 9:40, 9:30, 9:45.
I'll be there.
My Austin Genty card is up at auction at Golden Auction House. We're going to watch it live. So if you guys want to come chat, hopefully Tim can make it too. But
you know what?
What?
I might actually be at an auction house.
Okay.
So maybe I'll jump on live from the auction to watch the auction.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be cool if you do that. But
where's your Genty at right now?
It's at $650. I just looked at it right now. So my one-on-one's up for sale. I pulled that out of a regular pack of cards. We got lucky. Even the no bangers get lucky every once in a while.
Yeah.
Tim's next.
Tim is due. It's Tim's turn.
Tim's turn. So
maybe I hope it's not the $2 into 300. I hope it's like like a quarter pack into like a no-name Frank Thomas like auto or something he did back in 1990.
Oh,
maybe?
that would be cool.
It doesn't exist, but it'd be cool.
Yeah. But guys, if you guys want to come ask us questions, you guys want to learn about District, you guys want to learn about Dibit cards, you guys want to talk cards, please come hang out with us. We'll answer any questions you guys do have. And speak about questions, though, I don't know about you guys, but I have no idea what to do with my time right now because there's no football, and I'm lost every time there's no football. Baseball hasn't started yet. NHL season is on break right now because they're playing the World Championship, and the NBA is on a break because of the All-Star game. So what the hell are we supposed to do, Tim? What do we do right now?
Listen, this is an interesting time right now for sports, and I think this is an interesting topic of conversation is because a lot of people look at buying and selling, and you'll hear this term often in the sports car world, off-season pricing. So for me, like, I don't necessarily. It's interesting because we're burn and turn people. So like, like it's hard for us to kind of like necessarily fall into the realm of like the off-season pricing and stuff like that. But I think right now I think buying baseball cards right now is the best bet because that's going to be your next closest opportunity if you're not burning and turning, but your next closest opportunity to really make some profit because you're technically getting off-season prices probably for like another month at most. Because spring training, pitchers and catchers have already reported spring training is going to start, and those reports start coming out of the young prospects who might make the team. Those prices are going to start going crazy. So for me, it's all about baseball. And football is interesting too because
College,
football products release.
Pre-draft.
Yeah, draft coming up in April, which is very interesting. But football products release so late that like some of these guys, you get rookie cards, so it's like you already know these dudes didn't play one lick of football in the season when you get their rookie cards. But then you have guys like Jaden Daniels who you can really capitalize off of. Cooper DeJean, I found a red Pandora Optic Cooper DeJean preview card in a dollar box, and I got it listed right now for $35. So awesome. Like. Stuff
that's
like
what you showed the other night, right?
Yeah. So stuff like that, you can find that's going to be good. So I think that with football, it's a little bit interesting because it's more product release reliant than it is off-season pricing. But like guys like J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, as far as quarterbacks go, like those two guys are fairly well with Drake May and Jaden Daniels. I feel like and Bo Nix, their prices are kind of fixated right now, right? They're not going to drop. And they're not going to go up between now and the preseason, right?
Will Greer, allegedly.
But, yeah, this is not financial advice. But J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix, those guys are still kind of unknowns. So, like, their prices are going to be a little bit cheaper than the other guys, but the opportunity for growth is going to be tremendous for a J.J. McCarthy or a Michael Penix Jr. So I think that's going to be interesting. And I think college football, like Cary says, is probably one of the biggest plays. Hockey and basketball, those are such postseason sports right now, which sucks because I'm kicking myself in the face. I passed up on a Mac McClung card. I was like, man, I should probably buy this. And I passed up on the bar. You gotta remember. Forgot that the dunk
there is a 48-hour window every February between when he's in the G League and banished back to the G League that you can sell Mac McClung cards every year. Dude, he legit jumped over that Kia. Not Blake Griffin style where he was over the hood. He went over the Kia. I don't know how that
he got a 50 score in all of his dunks. Do you think
he had those shoes they always used to advertise when we were kids? Like that would help you learn how to the jump shoes? Is that how he learned how to do that?
No, I don't know.
He's from around here. He's a little bit more south, but he's from Virginia, and like he was a huge name. Because he was one of the first people that had a crazy highlight video on YouTube. Go check out Mac McClung's high school highlight reels on YouTube. You will be blown away.
So, Cary, what about you? I mean, are you focusing on NFL right now?
I'm focusing on Australian rugby.
What? What is that?
I'm focusing on cricket.
No.
What? I'm focusing on. Cherie sent them to me. Yeah, damn. I've got women's Australian rules football, and I've also got Australian rules football. I'm not focused. This is not really what I'm buying, but this we have somebody.
But you see how excited I am?
Dude, awesome. I can save you some packs, dude. They're fun. I got a bunch of these footy packs. It's fun. But but for real, here I'll give you my thing that I think is super. Yeah, I'll save you guys both a footy one because I got a bunch of those, the Aussie rules. But one thing that I think is super slept on, and I don't know, and I don't know the future, not financial advice, all that. College basketball. We are 1 month away from March Madness.
Yeah.
So what I did last week, a week and a half ago, is I went through and looked at like the teams, the rankings, and I just looked at who is playing well. I don't even remember the dude's name that I bought. Jaden something for Michigan State. He's the leading scorer for them. I found a green color match, Michigan State colors, for like under $20. I'm like, I'm going to buy that, set it aside. I should be able to get my money out of it if it fails, get $1 or $2 profit probably, but there's a chance it could go up. So college basketball, I think if you're willing to do a little bit of research, once again, nobody knows the future, but you might do decent on it.
So Bowman U Chrome basketball for college basketball is actually going to be coming out, and because of Cooper Flag,
the McDonald's stuff is on fire right now with Cooper Flag and all of the female players.
Yeah, that's going to be a really hot product. I don't know when it drops though, because I'm on the notify me list when it's available soon, so it hasn't dropped yet. So I'm hoping it drops right in March, right for March Madness, and that would be awesome. I think another thing we need to think about too here is what about we talked about emerging markets. I mean, we just had the Daytona 500 that was over the weekend. That was
William Byron.
Back to back.
Want to sell your Byron cards?
It's WrestleMania season WrestleMania is going to be in Las Vegas, so you have wrestling, you have the UFC pay-per-views coming up, you have these other emerging markets that we can actually. When does WNBA start too? Doesn't that start soon? Right after the.
It's going to start in the May or June, I think, in the summer.
Yeah. So okay.
Because I think they're off season from the NBA.
Yeah.
The women's Premier League has their in season tournament going on right now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So, by the way, too, when I was at the card show last week, and I forgot to send you a picture. Someone was selling softball cards. Have you seen the softball cards yet?
No.
Like Jenny Finch autos and stuff.
Yeah, you get. I don't know about Finch autos in there, but they literally had singles sitting there on the table, and he was having it. And he had I have to send you a picture of it.
I had somebody last week, like, how like you'll get random comments in your shorts, and somebody's like, open or find some power slap cards. Because Leaf has done some power slap autos and cards. I think
they really?
Yeah. I'm all over that. I don't know anything about power slap, but I want the cards. I mean, I've seen their highlights.
Power slap's owned by the UFC. So, do you know what the power slap is?
Oh, I see in the videos.
Yeah. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. You just stand there and get the crap slapped out of you, and
it's awesome.
It sounds awesome. Like my wife to me at home.
Yeah. All right. So, my question to you: we just talked about what's going on right now. Should you be buying now or selling? I think that's the big question. Are you buying or selling when you're going to these card shows now? When you're picking your
stuff
you a
up? Flipper? If you're a flipper, you should be doing both, right?
Yeah,
all the time, forever, until you die.
Yeah. You talked about some of the QBs and stuff like that to pick up. You talked about Michael Penix. You talked about the unknown between these guys. I mean, are these guys that you're going to be buying to put to the side after the draft and maybe to sell them close to the football season? But you're going to be buying and selling. You're going to be flipping. We flip all day long. But is there certain things in the offseason you're putting to the side, I guess? I guess that's the real question.
It's tough for me to do that. It like really is.
Rule.
You know what I think I would do? Because I used to do more of that, but now that it's become like I'm doing so much that it's harder for me to do that because I'm relying on the burn and turn as a lot of income because of having the baby and everything. So it's hard for me to do that. What I think I would normally do is in these cases now, instead of necessarily holding, I will fight the off-season price comps. Like, you could come at me all day long with the comps that you're showing me, and I will tell you, listen, I appreciate it, and I understand where you're coming from, but that's off-season pricing. I'm not selling that off-season pricing. For some players and some cards, I will hold my ground because eventually I think that even if you are higher than off-season prices, smart people will know if it's a good enough card. And if the market runs dry on the low-priced off-season pricing product or like singles, people who are smart will know that price is still a good price for when it's not off-season.
I have a story about this, Tim, and I'll do this typically with prospects and stuff. I may price them even where I think they may go a little bit. It might be a little high. I consider it like storage almost. I want to know where my cards are. They're in my box. They're listed. And then as it becomes more dynamic towards the season, I'll adjust the price or maybe run it through auctions or whatever. But I got a Brendan Sorsby, one of Gabe's guys. Brendan Sorsby, numbered to 5 red shimmer, which is a color match to the Bearcats color. for like, it was sticker at 60 and I got a deal. So I overpaid a little, let's be honest, but I think I paid around $40 to $50 and the comps were at like 20, 22. And I put it up at 60 just as like a hold. And I'm like, I'll make a very small profit if I sell it. I kind of overpaid. And I had somebody come on Mercari say, the last two comps are 20 and one had come up in the last week since I posted and it was like a 22. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about the comps right now at all. I mean, like, I don't care if I sell this until October. And, lo and behold, 3 weeks later, sold for the 60.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I was, I could have held even longer possibly, and it could have went up in price. That was probably what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I was okay getting out because I paid a little bit too much because I thought it was a cool card. But like, I just ignored those people because that's the one thing I have a disconnect with a lot of card sellers. Maybe it's because I come from the flea market and the garage sale universe. Like, I really don't care about comps that much. I really don't, because I'm not dealing with high end a ton. So, I mean, I can understand that with downtowns and everything, but I'm dealing with nostalgia a lot. And I know somebody's going to come in, maybe not, they'll get this Bo Jackson over the shoulder score 90 or 91 card and they'll pay 10. There might be a comp for 3 on there. There might be a comp for 15 because people are just going on when they feel like it. Some are paying by it now. Some are bidding, right? Eventually I'll get that 10 and I'm not in a rush to sell it.
Let me ask you this though. You made a good point there that you don't care about comps. Is it because, like when me, you, and Tim go to card shows, we're not really comping. We're pulling cards out of the dollar boxes and we're going through the bargain boxes.
And most are going through auction too. That's a whole other part of it.
Yeah. So I'm looking at these cards and I'm like, if someone has 10 on, I'm like, I feel comfortable if I would take 5 for it. I don't even look it up. So I just tell them when I feel comfortable paying for the card and then, we make a deal. So is it that the fact that you don't care about comps, just the fact that you're not actually comping cards at the shows? Because that's just not your style.
I think that's part of it. I mean, I'm not dealing with cards that necessarily need comps a lot of times because you can find so many undervalued cards in bargain boxes. But I mean, I just never, this is just a disconnect I have with the hobby of like just being so enamored with the latest comp as that determines the value of something. We know from selling regular stuff, you have a starter, paint splash, Dallas Cowboys, Tim hat, right? There might be a sale on there for whatever, 75. There might be one for 150. There might be one for 120. There might be one for 90. The last sale does not represent what that hat's worth, right. Because there's variables. And also that was just timing. That person priced it low. They shouldn't have. That person came in and sniped it because it was way too low. We know in general, that's like whatever, $120 hat. So we're going to stay at that 120 and we might wait 3 months. We might sell it right away. Who knows? And I think in the card game, a lot of people, I think it's because they're novices or they're new at this, they don't realize the fluctuation. They don't have to play that game. I don't think it's a game we have to play.
Market Movers just came out with a video recently, and I thought it was a very interesting concept where they walked around, they interviewed dealers and they interviewed buyers, and they asked them, what is the, what do you want from your buyer when you're at a card show? And then they asked the buyer, what do you want from your dealer? What's the biggest thing that annoys you and stuff like that? And one of the dealers said the biggest thing that annoys me is when people come up, they try to show me that one low comp, and it's like, hey, you know what? This card just sold for $20, but if you actually look back at the last 3, 4, 5 comps, that card was more or less around a $40 or $50 card, which I get, you know what I mean? Because that's something we all try to use our advantage, and we show comps and do things like that. So, for me, when I go to sell my cards, I use like a 90-10 rule where, 90% of my cards I'm trying to flip right away, but there's 10% of my stuff I want to put aside. And a famous man, his name is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, says everyone has a price. You know what I mean? So even where I'm putting up prospect cards, I put them higher because I think potentially I'm waiting for the right time for them to sell. I'll place those higher, waiting for a right offer to come in. Or stuff that I keep for my personal collection, PC, I may list on eBay super high because I don't want to sell it. Or maybe it's a one-off item, But if someone comes in, I could be $100 over the last comp, but someone comes in and once they pay that price, I'm okay selling it.
Because, or they come in $50 below and you're still $50 over comp. If you feel like it, you might just go, I'll let it go. I'll use that $250 to find some more PC stuff or whatever.
I think the biggest takeaway from this, though, that people need to understand is there's a right and a wrong time to sell. And that right time may be right now. So even having your not listing those cards is going to ruin your chance of ever selling that card. So even if you sell that card at a higher price, which all three of us are doing, or listing at a higher price, if something happens, like for example, like God forbid something else like this happens, but when Kobe Bryant passed away, those cards went through the roof at that point in time. If you had a card listed super high, that card probably would have sold right then because of the situation, what was going on. Or, when Ellie hit the cycle. Yeah, when he hit the cycle, like if you had that card listed super high because he was a prospect, you thought he was going to be coming through, that card probably would have sold right away because you were listed at in the perfect time. Yeah. So I don't think there is a perfect price to sell your card. There's a perfect time to list your card, and that's the biggest.
And the bargain box, going through bargain boxes consistently, like all of us do at shows and card shops, constantly illustrates that point that there is a right. Because sometimes they're putting a $5 card in there because they're up to date and they realize that player just got hot and they're right on the right price. And there's a wrong time to sell. For the first time in my life, I found a Desmond Ritter auto in the dollar box. You couldn't touch it. I mean, it was a Leaf one, but still, I'm like a year and a half ago, I couldn't touch one of those for 15 or less, probably right around there. And then even before that, it was even hotter. I mean, but now it probably, it's probably worth more than $1. That's why I picked it up. But it's just interesting. Like their cards change dynamically and all the time. And like we say all the time, you never lose. You never lose when you sell at a profit. So,
that's why like investing is such a weird term to use when it comes to sports cards to me. I mean, like, if you're going to make investing in sports cards really takes like a Jackie Robinson or like
Michael Jordan rookie.
Well, it's just it's so silly. It's so silly to me too because it's like you'll get that reel or that TikTok right where they got that big hit, but then they don't show you the 17 other prospects that failed that they invested in too. It's just it's not very sustainable in general, But the thing about bargain boxing is you don't really have to do that. The chances I'm taking is like worst case, I can get my $2 back out of this card, lot it up. Maybe I'll lose 50 cents occasionally on something if it's a real bad pick, but most of the time I'm going to make a small profit or I'm going to make a medium profit, or maybe I'll really hit something. But there's no real investing because I'm buying it so low at the right price that there's margin already built in because they don't want to deal with it.
The other thing that's really interesting too is something I use to combat like the aggressive nature of comps is when somebody tells me, the last 3 ones did this, this, and this, right? And I'm like, what's the cheapest you can get this card for right now?
Oh, there you go.
Right?
That's a good statement.
Current listed prices.
What's the cheapest you can get this card right now? Because yes, this card you're telling me just sold for $10 and $15, right? But I'm trying to get 25, 30 for it right now. The cheapest you can find this card is $45. There's only 3 of them listed at $45.
Such a great point.
So
go on eBay, go on these sites, find one at these comp prices. No, you can't find one? Well, then I'm the cheapest one available right now, or the only one available near you. So
I think Tim makes a really good point because not only do you need to look at comps, but you look at listed items as well when you are listing your item. Because when I do list my items, I want to be kind of at where the market's going to be, but yet if the last comp is completely different from what's actually listed there, I'm going to be, maybe 15, 20, 30 bucks higher than that last comp, but I'm still going to be at the lower end. So I still get my card be one of the first ones they buy.
Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever been researching a card to sell and you were kind of looking to figure out the price you're going to put it at as? And then you see you see maybe 10 or 15 cards and everything is $15 and above. And then there's one card at $8 and you're like, I'm gonna buy that card right now because I want to equal out the market. So I was listening to Cam Scatterbo.
That's what they do on ComC all the time, don't they? They're buying out the outliers and then repricing it up, right?
So I bought a Cam Scatterbo the other day and I was getting ready to list mine and I was like, damn, this is a $15 card. And I'm like, there's this one dude though who has it listed for $8, and I was live on RIN and I was like, I should just buy this card right now, shouldn't I? And they were like, dude, just send him an offer. And I was like, if you're going to buy it right now, just send him an offer.
Sounds like Eric right there.
It was. And so I sent the guy an offer for $5, and 2 hours later he accepted it. So I took that card off of the market, and now everything was pretty much equal sitting at $15.
Yeah, but coming from a picker mentality, when I go to if I go to a flea market, if I'm buying something to buy to flip online, and just say not cards, but if I go to a place and I'll give you an example, I found these Disney jumpsuits for the Richard Petty experience that was at Disney, and a guy had 3 of them. And then he's like, hold on, I got more in my truck. And he pulled out 5 more. And so I ended up buying 8 of them because I didn't want anyone else at the flea market to buy them. Because when I looked on eBay at the time, there was 2 comps. One was for like 300, one was for like 250. But there wasn't any like really listed. So I was like, I want to make sure I'm the only one who has those listed on there. So
you don't want other people at the flea market buying them and competing with you.
Yeah. So there is some
the price down.
That. So like I can see, I mean, if there's a player out there that only has maybe a card in Leaf or just maybe 1 or 2 cards out there, like I would go out there and start buying a lot of those cards because so that you can control the market and you can almost dictate what the price you want to set. So, but all right, so let me ask you this then. What is your strategy buying right now? Is there certain things? I mean, I know you talk about baseball. You're looking to buy baseball right now, but I mean, football just ended. Are you focusing on quarterbacks? Is there certain things you may be focusing on the offseason that maybe you're going to, because the market prices will be a little bit down?
I'm for football, I'm looking for the new product stuff. Like I've been buying a ton of red Pandoras, like the Pandora Optic previews, because those are starting to fall into the bargain boxes. And I know off of experience that those cards will come back and be really good if a player does well. Jordan Love, a lot of people kind of slept on him for a little bit, and I had his Pandora Optic preview rated rookie, and when he like blew up, that thing was 40x what it was beforehand, right? And then so people don't forget how those are pretty short print runs, right? They're not necessarily short prints. I mean, I guess technically they are short prints or whatnot, because they're done now. Now it's a completely, in mega boxes that are coming out, it's a completely different Optic preview. And then Optic's going to come out, and their Optic rated rookies are going to be there. But those original first preview Optics are going to be sought after down the road. So, like, I'm getting, like, a Trey Benson color match, stuff like that out of the red Optic previews. I found the Cooper DeJean, those for Braylon Allens, like, those sort of guys in a dog box, those are huge for me. But with baseball, it's so important. Start looking at your major league roster predictions. Guys who they think are going to make the major leagues. Then look at those players, right, who you might not know, who don't already have a rookie card. That's who you should be buying right now, because some of those guys are going to be big names. Dylan Cruz, even though he played a little bit at the end of last year, like those guys are going to be big names. They got rookie cards coming out right now. But a guy like, I don't want to give you my secret, but I'll give you one guy. Like a guy like Juan Brito, okay? Not a lot of people even ever heard this guy's name. Okay, his first Bowman was with the Colorado Rockies in 2023. He got traded to the Cleveland Guardians for Nolan Jones. I have seen some projections of him being in the starting lineup for the Cleveland Guardians. His stuff is fairly reasonably cheap right now, and he's a guy that can get 24 home runs, 20-plus stolen bases in the big leagues if he wins that job. But like worst case scenario, you still have those cards for when he does. Say he doesn't make the opening day roster. When he does get called up, as we know in baseball, when the guy gets called up, that is an instant sell on 99% of the cards. So like a guy like that, to me, is a instant buy right now. So I'm looking at the guys who are in spring training, even guys who may not make the roster, but got spring training invitees, right? Because the hype on that, yo, did you see such and such, 18 years old? He just hit 2 home runs in a Grapefruit League game. The price on that stuff goes up so crazy immediately. Like, for me, that's where I'm at right now.
And the guys that get invited this year are more likely going to be invited next year, too, as long as they're playing well.
I mean, if they don't make the team, if they don't get called up during the season, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's some – Lawrence Butler. I made a killing on Lawrence Butler because 2 years ago he was crushing in spring training. And then it didn't, like, really bring him up. He stuck around in AAA for forever. But I was buying all his first Bowmans, which are hard as hell to find. Like 20, I gave one to Cary like 2 years ago for free. I sent him one. I was like, I'm going to send you this guy. But those cards are hard to find because he had 2018 first Bowmans. And then last year, he got called up, and all of a sudden everybody was like, well, I need Lawrence Butler. They don't even know what year his first Bowman is. I was selling his first Bowman Sky Blue Chromes for $45, $50. Those things were in the 50-cent box, the dollar boxes, for 2, 3, 4 years. So like stuff like that is intriguing for me.
I think basketball, Jalen Brunson. Like he was a bargain box guy forever.
Yeah.
And once again, like my whole thought process is you buy something in the bargain box that you feel at the very least you can get out of at the same cost. And it's just, we're going to see if if he doesn't pan out, sell, so maybe you can make a small profit or get your money back out of it. But yeah, a lot of people were buying some Jalen Brunson and did really, really well. And, he had years where it took him to develop. A lot of people need time to develop.
So what are you looking for right now, Cary? I mean, when you're out there, because I mean, you go to shows almost on a weekly basis.
What I love to look for is college football and college basketball. I don't find as much, but really I love the college stuff. I'm very enamored with Leaf because there's just so many prospects there. Like I've been buying a lot of baseball Leaf. When I get autos, at K&T a lot, I get a buck a piece. I'm like, I'll get it. That guy might. Sometimes it's first rounders or guys that are, my simple rule on like those dollar autographs is if it's a 2024 Leaf one, I'm probably going to pick it up at $1 because I don't know what's going to happen with these guys. And it's fresh product, so they're in the product for some reason. I at the very least could sell it right now and get $1 or $2 profit, I hope. So I've been buying, a lot of the Leaf stuff because I feel like they have. Dude, I love the stuff where they're thinking outside of the box. They're putting high schoolers in there. I found another Jared Curtis at the card show this weekend, so now I have 2 Jared Curtis autos. I think he's the 3rd ranked high school quarterback in the nation. I found that Brady Schmiegel I was showing you guys. I mean, I'm kind of trying to think. That's why I like that we've opened it up to high school and college. There's more room for you to get into it with less competition if you're willing to study. And I don't mean like to invest and hope they get better. Of course, there's that aspect to it. But like you can find these because people are opening up Leaf, they're opening up Wild Card. And if it's not the big guys, they're just tossing them to the side. They're not researching it. And you can find these in $1, $2, $3 boxes and immediately profit.
Well,
and if you want to put them a little high and hope they go up, you can do that as well.
So I'm like you. I'm buying a lot of college right now because the simplicity of it, though, too, because there might only be 1 or 2 cards of that player. So, there's not a lot of product for a lot of these players out there. Another thing I'm buying in the offseason, I'm buying a lot of QBs in running backs, backup running backs with QBs when I find them in the dollar boxes, just for the fact that if you look back at the NFL season, by the end of the NFL season, the last week of the year, I think they had 13 starters were backup QBs by the end of the season. So, I mean, I think there's a big play, too, getting these players who are going to do that. But, Tim, what about you? What about free agency? Are you staying away from guys that are in free agency now because not knowing what's going to happen when it comes to the NFL? I know you're a big football guy, or that doesn't scare you when buying these players?
It doesn't. I mean, I think it's actually a positive because it's going to generate buzz around their names in an off season when people are so focused on off season pricing. Where like a guy like T. Higgins or Myles Garrett, like on the defensive side of the ball, Deebo Samuel might get traded. Some of the quarterbacks. Jordan Travis is a name I think you should keep an eye out on. I'm actually very surprised what his cards were doing. I found a green wave prism rookie color match in the dollar box.
The green prism stuff looks so good.
Yeah, they look great.
And think about it with a Jets player. That's a $15 card.
Well,
so
they're moving away from Rodgers, so
they're moving away from Rodgers.
Well, he was, if I remember right, he was an FSU guy, and I think he was injured a lot. He was injured like as a senior, and he's obviously not getting a chance behind Aaron Rodgers. So at least, but Rodgers is going.
Maybe like also like a Joe Milton who might get traded. Like some of those people I think are kind of gonna be interesting too. But I think you're gonna start right around April when. I mean the draft buzz. Cary nailed that one early in the show about like college stuff. I think that's really going to be the play. But yeah, it's the new product cycle with football is so weird that they don't suffer from off-season pricing as much as baseball and basketball do.
And speaking about the college, we keep talking about it. We will have an episode coming out very, very soon with Gaby Sports Card Stacks. Is it Card Stacks?
Yep.
Yeah. So he came on there. He was a guest with us. We've already filmed it. And he goes in depth about certain players. He goes in depth about the college football, what to look out for, how he sells it, how he buys it. So it's going to be a great episode. So we're going to have a really in-depth about an hour and a half, 2 hour talk on that. So that's a good one there. But I think this wraps it up for today, guys. I mean, I think we're come to the end. I know we got some shows to be doing here later on tonight. So it's time for us to kind of wrap this up. Make sure you guys do put hashtag #NoBangers down below Let us know any questions you guys have, because we definitely want to start answering a lot of you guys' questions, get a little bit more interaction with you. Also, too, remember, this Thursday night we'll be live on Picking Punching Cards. If you want to come in, chat with us, ask us questions, we'd love to have you guys there. Tim, you have any final words for the audience?
No, just don't forget when you put comments, no banger, hashtag no banger, drop your dibditcards.com username to be entered in for the Jalen Daniels rookie card giveaway. But yeah, big shout out to Keith and them on the on his the Rips and Brews, the podcast that he does with Andy on Vintage Sports Flips. I popped in there right when they were leaving, and they did a no bangers.
They did? Oh, let's go, man. Let's go.
You know, hey, we need to talk to Keith, because Keith's going to be stepping to National this year, and maybe we'll do a no bangers little meetup there at Keith's booth there for a little bit. People want to come over, hang out, and see us. I think that might be a good thing. We'll talk to Keith more about that, but I don't think he'll mind having some people in his booth. Maybe for an hour or two for that day, people will come by and hang out with us, answer some questions. We'll go bargain box hunting with them, but we'll talk a little bit more about that behind the scenes. Anything to wrap it up, Cary? Anything last words?
No, I thank you. If you're still here at an hour 25, why? Thank you.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
Words of encouragement.
No, thank you.
Perfect.
No, thank you. No, I'm just teasing. I always do.
Right.
Self-deprecating. No, we appreciate you guys. You're one of us, man. We are bargain boxers. We are deal seekers, and let's learn together. We're watching your videos. We're listening to your comments, and we appreciate you.
We do read every single comment you guys do, so the more comments, the better. Please spread the word. We are trying to get it out there. If you guys do see us at card shows, please come up. We love to talk to you. We love to go bargain box hunting with you guys, because you guys are one of us, and we like to stick together. So, you know what time it is, Tim?
Ducks fly together.
You know what I'm saying? It's ducks fly together. Quack, quack, quack,
Quack, quack, quack,
quack,
quack.
quack,
Dude, we have Bash Brothers, real life Bash Brothers on the USA team during this little tournament. I don't know if you saw them, but they had the same uniforms on and everything, man.
That's awesome.
It was a great game, USA Canada. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, it was dope. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, get your hands in. No bangers on 3. 1, 2, 3. No bangers!
Let's go.